little bit of story, little bit of why I'm here, what my plans are with the channel and whatnot. It's gonna be weird, honestly. It's kind of scary to be honest with you, but it's one of those things that the more you talk about, the more it comes to life, I guess. Just a quick little backstory about me. I haven't really talked why I'm trying to stream, why I'm trying to make this a thing. Well, first of all, I always love games. That has always been my number one hobby, I guess. Video games have always been like my number one. If I can get to this as a full-time job, that'll be awesome. Play games for a living, that's dope. Talk to some people, that's dope too. But there's a reason why I'm here, because I'm jobless. That's not something like I hide, but I haven't talked about it much. I hinted about it here and there, but not by choice. But I got screwed over a couple of times during my many years of work. I'm tired of it. Put everything that you have into a job for them to just like kick you to the curb just because. This has happened to me twice already with two different companies that they let me go, not because of anything I did, but because it's gonna sound up, but do any job, doesn't matter what job it is, doesn't matter what you do, you're just a number. All in all, we're just numbers to a company. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how passionate you are, doesn't matter how much you give up of your life, they don't care about you. It's the truth. And I'm not saying that because I'm salty, because I am salty 100%. Every job I ever had, I've always been some kind of manager or supervisor. I understand that people are just numbers, but it still sucks whenever you try your hardest for somebody or some company that you really believe in, and then they just let you go. It sucks. It makes you feel worthless. Makes you feel like it doesn't matter how hard you try, you're not gonna get anywhere. So my first time I got laid off, I worked for Best Buy for about 2 years. So I started with sales. I moved up from a regular part-time to full-time in about 2 weeks. That happened to me for two reasons. One, I'm a great salesman. That was one plus. And as up as it's gonna sound, when I got hired, a hurricane happened here. And on top of that, a lot of people couldn't go to work. Luckily for me, I lived semi-close to that Best Buy I worked at, so I could go to work anytime. I just jumped in. I was like, sure, I'll work. I don't mind. I help out. And because of that, because I sold a lot within those 2 weeks, they offered me a full-time position that quick. So I started with sales. I got promoted real fast, and they changed me departments every so often. I don't like saying no to new things, so I was like, you know what, F it, I'll try it. I'll jump right in. So I did, and because of that, I got knowledgeable in a lot of different departments. That was the case for about a year. A little bit afterwards, the store manager who hired me quit. Well, he retired, and after him got this manager. He was terrible. Best thing I can put it, he was horrible. In my store, a supervisor position opened up. I applied for it, got it. But I wasn't happy because of how she wanted me to treat my guys. So I stepped down from that supervisor position. Then, like, not even a month after I stepped down, COVID happened. Well, Best Buy decided, we can stay open, but we're gonna do curbside. Best Buy gave us an option. They were like, you can either work, get your regular pay, or you can take a break. We'll pay you to take that break. So I told her, like, no, I'll work, that's fine. So after COVID finally let off, so they offered me a position on warehouse side. I had that job for about 6 months. I was one of the people that was laid off. They didn't give me a reason why. They just pulled me into their office. Or like, we decided to cut you off. After working for them for a while, they were like, no, that, you're out. They got laid off. And funny story on top of that, I went back to Best Buy, to my old store, to get Elden Ring. And on that store, there was all new people. I saw the only person that was still there when I worked there. I asked him, like, hey man, what's going on? Like, nobody from back when I used to work here. And he was like, yeah, Best Buy had another big round of layoffs, and everybody who's been on the store for more than a year, all of them got cut off. So they didn't give a about the people. They just wanted to save money. That's all it was. So that happened to me. I didn't have a job for a while. I got bored. So I got a job at my previous employer, Alphalete. If you don't know Alphalete, it's a clothing company or workout apparel. It's like a whole like universe people live in, pretty much. I started as a regular picker, as everybody does. So I started with the staffing company. Then about a week later, I got hired in as a full-time employee. So after 2 months of being full-time, they offered me to move me to the inventory department because they needed people who knew about inventory. Then my first Black Friday with the company happened. During that time, sales are crazy because everything is dirt cheap. Now keep in mind, normally a regular shirt, like a plain cotton shirt, is like 30 to 40 bucks. Joggers, about 70 to 80 bucks. Jackets, about the same. During Black Friday, everything is heavily discounted. Shirts, 10 bucks. Joggers, 15, 20 bucks. Jackets, 30 bucks. It was like highly discounted. We had the opportunity to work 12-hour shifts if we wanted to. We had the opportunity to work 7 days a week if we wanted to. It wasn't mandatory. Mandatory was for 40 hours and that's it. But I worked every day that month, 12-hour shift, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Keep in mind, I live about an hour and a half away from that company. So I would drive an hour there, an hour back. So I would be gone for about 14 hours. I would come home, eat, go to sleep, wake up, and go back to work. That was the whole month. I wanted to do it. I wanted to prove them that I could do it. So because of that, the manager noticed, like, this guy works hard. So they made a new department that they needed, and I got put in charge of that department. It was called restocks. What we did, we restocked the inventory on the floor so orders can be processed. On top of that, my team would separate all the boxes because mostly everything was mixed up together, label everything. We put a new location, we call it a map of the new stuff, set up the map, move the inventory, and put the overstock up high as well too. My team, whenever we first started, it was just 5 of us, and their drops are massive. Like a regular drop, it would have 3 different styles of shirts. Each shirt had about 5 different colors on it, plus jackets, joggers, whatever, men's and women's as well too. The regular drop could have over like 200 to 300 new SKUs. So we would have to work hard to, one, keep the inventory like up for the old orders, make sure the inventory is correct for the items that we got, and to put it out and make sure it's in the right location as well too. So we had to do like 4 or 5 different jobs at the same time while working with other departments to make sure that everything is done correctly. What I mean by that is inventory would get a sheet of the items, the quantity of items we're supposed to get of each item. So let's say we have 100 white shirts made. And if on my end, we didn't allocate or put in the full 100 either in overstock or on the floor, that means we messed up. But the problem is there was no inventory control. So if the manufacturer didn't send the right amount, we were blamed for it because we didn't do our job. That also made it harder for us because that means we had to do another job on top of that as well too. We had to make sure that we had the right amount, well, top of the right item, on top of the right location, but we had to do a lot more. It got to the point that I just started getting pissed off because we would get blamed for somebody else's mistakes. It was just like stress after stress after stress. And that's, again, me driving an hour and a half to there, an hour and a half back every day. So I would wake up at 6 in the morning and come back home at about 6:30. So I was going for 12 and a half hours. One day, all the supervisors get called into the office. They told us that the owner of the company decided to shut down the warehouse. The reason why he wanted to shut down the warehouse was he wanted to save more money and going through a third party to the fulfillment side of things instead of doing it in-house. Which I get it. We had in our warehouse at least 100 people. So that's a lot. That's a big payroll. I get it. But to cut off 100 people just so I can save a couple of bucks, that's f***ed up. What's even more f***ed up is that the owner of this company, he is big into social media. That's how he got his foot in the door. Instagram, YouTube, whatever. He always talks about being transparent with his team, transparent with anybody who likes Alpha League. But he never, ever told anybody that he was shutting down the warehouse. The only reason he mentioned that the warehouse was shutting down is after they went through the third party. The third party started f***ing up. They couldn't process orders as fast as we did it in-house. So instead of getting your package within 3 to 5 days, people were getting like their packages 2 to 3 weeks after they order their items. That's when he was like, oh yeah, it's because we changed to a third party a company to do our fulfillment, so we don't have as much control. AKA he was blaming the other person instead of taking accountability and being like, yeah, up, and decided not to say anything, to keep it shush because he knew he would get a lot of hate back if he would tell his fans that he laid off over 100 people from the warehouse. That's a big deal. After he announced that we were shutting down, we had about 2 months to clean the warehouse up, pack everything up, ship everything out, make sure everything is cleaned out. That was the plan. The 2 months go by, everybody was let go. Supervisors were told, hey, we still need to clean up, we have to do other things. We have maybe like another month. So stay, you get the same pay rate. During this period, within those since they told us that we were shutting down, this place called Alpha Land opened up. Alpha Land is like the main HQ of Alpha League. During this period, they were hiring for a lot of positions on Alpha Land. So people could apply to those jobs if they didn't want to be jobless. We as supervisors, they did not let us apply because they didn't want to pull us from the warehouse because there was a lot to do. During the whole time, they told us, don't worry about applying, we got you guys. We will take care of you guys because you guys did so much for us. So during that time, I was chilling. I was like, hey, cool. They got us. I don't have to worry about it. I'll have some other job soon. Not a problem. They kept telling us this for a while. Maybe about a week before my last day, we went to talk to the manager. And we asked him, hey, what's going on? Ever heard about any other jobs? We haven't heard anything about going to Alpha Land. Come to find out, the whole 2 to 3 months of them telling us like, oh yeah, we got you. We're looking for something for you guys to keep the same pay rate. We got you. They were full of They did not do anything for us. Until we asked them what was happening, that's when they started looking. But because they started looking like 3 months later, there was nothing. There was literally nothing. So they came to us and they were like, you know what? We're gonna help you guys out. You can have either a retail position or a gym position. That's it. For them to just be like, here's a bone, take it or leave it. I left it. I said, nah, and at the end, they ended up so that's honestly what happened. I got over. I feel like I got over, and they don't care about you. That's why I'm here. That's why I wanted to try streaming. I'm 30. Like I said before, I'm old. I'm 30, and having those 2 bad experiences, 2 companies that they always said like, oh, we care about our people. We care about your well-being. We care about keeping you with us. Just like kick you to the curb. It hurts. It's like getting broken up. It's like, it's not you, it's me. And it just sucked at the end of the day. I don't want to go through that again. I really don't. So my plan with this channel, with the streaming, is, like I said, make a living out of it, is to entertain you guys, is to hopefully like learn something new. Yeah, that's pretty much the plan. I just wanted to let you guys know why I'm here, why I'm doing this, and why I feel like doesn't matter how hard you try for somebody else, they don't care about you. So you have to work harder on yourself and for yourself for somebody else. That was a big eye opener that happened, and that's why I decided to work on myself, work on what makes me happy. Yeah, I just had to let it out of my system. I've been like holding it in for so long because I didn't want to talk smack about the company, but there's no other way to explain of why I feel the way I feel without letting it all out. That's my story. I feel better now. Letting it out.